Well, it's noon Central Standard Time, and that means it's time for another Leadership Lunch. I'm Matt Morey, the C4 Leader, and I'm glad you could join me today for the Leadership Lunch. Today's quote comes from John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was our 35th president. He was assassinated in November 1963, but between the time he was elected and when he was assassinated, he inspired the space race. He also was involved with the Bay of Pigs. Oh, I see I got somebody. Emeritus? I don't know how to pronounce that name. Emeritus, I'm going to call it. Okay, so John F. Kennedy's quote today is that leadership and learning are indispensable of each other. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. I'm going to make sure I get it right. I've got it written down here on the side. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. Now, what does this mean? Well, today, leaders are learners. Leaders are readers, leaders are learners. You have to be engaged. You have to keep growing. You have to be constantly trying to move forward. Hi, I got some new viewers, but your names didn't pop up. I apologize for that. I'm glad you could join us. Leadership and learning have to go hand in hand, because if you constantly do things the way you've always done them, then somebody else will pass you by. You'll miss opportunities. You have to keep exposing yourself to new things so that you can make sure that your team is engaged in doing the right things too. Now, that doesn't mean that you're the smartest person in the room. A lot of the time, a leader needs to rely on the people around them too. So you should be touching them for the good ideas. Hopefully, everybody in your team is learning, and you're encouraging, as the leader, to be learners. Now, John Maxwell talks about how good leaders don't make followers, good leaders make more leaders. The first step in that, at least in my mind, is get people to start growing. A lot of the time that means learning. In fact, every time it means learning. Let me be specific on that. So here's my encouragement to you. John F. Kennedy said it. Leadership, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to get it right. Leadership and learning are indispensable. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. If you want to be a leader, you have to be a learner. If you want to grow, you have to read. You have to continue to expose yourself to new things. If you want your team to grow, then they need to grow with you. So take the time to see what you can do to get your team to grow, to learn something new, to stop doing things the same way every time. All right, I'm Matt Morey, the C4 Leader, and as always, I am committed that you will get more with Morey. Here's to you and your team exploding into success.